So good evening, ladies. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to our session number 4, our final and most strategic conversation in this powerful series of 4 for financial literacy. Over the last 3 sessions, we've built a foundation that most small businesses in the Caribbean never get. Today, we will focus on the part that determines longevity and sustaining growth. This session is about moving from surviving mouth to mouth to building a business that can thrive for years, serve your family, strengthen your communities, and outlive economic shocks such as storms and social pressure. Tonight, we step into a more future-ready mindset, one anchored in confidence, structure, and smart decision-making. So, where we started and how far we've come. We're going to recap a little bit. So let's take a moment to acknowledge how far we've come. You didn't just attend these sessions, I hope you evolved. In week 1, you looked at your relationship with money. I hope that you saw clearly the leaks, the blind spots, the behaviors that were undermining your confidence in your own financial journey. In week 2, we looked at how lenders think, what they expect, and how to position yourself as a credible and formidable person with adequate financial literacy, particularly when approaching institutions for lending. In week 3, we looked at together how to operate a business legally, confidently, and professionally, from taxes to compliance issues, and hopefully that broadened your knowledge in terms of how to start a business. Tonight ties everything together, showing you how to protect your own financial acumen, how to protect your business, with you building so that you don't join the failure statistics. Hopefully, you are now operating with some insight and intention. So we'll start with a little bit of statistics. Business survivals, the survival rates of business in the Caribbean. Understanding that landscape that will make you have more insight into when you start a business and how far you want it to go. Here's the uncomfortable truth that we face, particularly in the Caribbean. Most micro and small businesses don't survive beyond 5 years. You might ask yourself why. Not because we lack commitment. We work harder than most. Not because we lack creativity. We innovate on a daily basis. The failures comes from the gaps in the structure, not necessarily the passion. Typically, those stumbling blocks would include cash flow weaknesses, chronic underpricing, lack of records, and I cannot reiterate enough how lack of records can really destroy any hope of a survival of a business. No systems. Owner burnout. Burnout is a real thing, particularly for women in business. Poor market alignment. Understanding this upfront will give you power. It allows you to make decisions intentionally and not reactively. Awareness is you and will be your competitive edge. So what does sustaining growth mean? Building future-ready enterprise requires adaptability and innovation to thrive in an ever-changing marketplace. What does sustaining growth mean? I have to ask that again. It's really the difference between hustling and leading a business. Growth is not about working harder. It's not about working smarter. It's not about working harder, but it is about working smarter, more strategically and with stability in mind. Sustaining growth means having a financial strategy, running operations with discipline, showing up consistently, keeping compliance tight, watching your market, adjusting quickly, and protecting your energy. When I refer to protecting your energy, this is where the burnout comes in. This is how your business graduates from a side hustle to a structured enterprise. Tonight, we will look at something I call pillars. And hopefully that will show you exactly what you need to do to create longevity in your business. The 7 pillars of sustainable growth. Why they matter for business longevity. Think of these 7 pillars as the engine room of long-lasting business. When all 7 are functioning together, your business becomes stronger, more resilient, more profitable, more predictable, less stress to run. They are not nice to have concepts. They are the structural backbone that separates business that survive a few months from those that thrive for many years. The importance of the several pillars for business longevity. Every successful business, regardless of the sector, the size, or whichever island you're on, stand on 7 essential pillars. These pillars determine whether a business will fade quickly or grow steadily and sustainably over time. In the Caribbean, especially among young women entrepreneurs, or rather women entrepreneurs, there's incredible talent and creativity, but talent alone does not secure long-term success. What creates longevity is structure, discipline, and strategic habits. Those pillars hopefully will give your business the strength to withstand challenges, expand confidently, and grow without burning out. Each pillar really signifies a different part of your business. So the first pillar, cash flow discipline. That is the lifeblood of your business. Cash flow keeps your business alive. If the cash is weak, the business becomes fragile. Mastering cash flow allows you to survive slow seasons, unexpected expenses, and emergencies. And when I speak to you today about the pillar, I kind of use the pillar structure to be able to amalgamate all the things we've learned over the last 3 sessions. Strong cash flow projections protects your business from collapse and increases your ability to grow. Pricing for profit, your value engine. Businesses collapse when they are underpriced. Correct pricing ensures you earn fairly, reinvest confidently, and grow sustainably. Not by overworking, but by charging properly. Keep in records and compliance with certain regulations, particularly those that are enforced by the governments and the respective organizations that would oversee whatever industry that you're in, whether that be food industry and you would need health certificates, or you run a business and you have to make sure you pay employees. Record keeping and compliance. I know I put it as the 3rd pillar, but I often see it as the most important one. This pillar makes you fundable, trusted, and respected. It opens doors to loans, grants, contracts, and partnerships. Operations and systems. That is your efficiency blueprint. Systems remove guesswork, reduce burnout, and improve quality. They make your business consistent, even on your tired days. I think we spoke last week about basically the aim of a business should be that it's making money whilst you sleep. That is where operation and systems comes in. If you put things in place, and I know you might be thinking of this on a large scale or big corporations, but what I want you to know is small and micro businesses benefit just as much or even more importantly from those things if you have a structure. Okay? Customer retention. Repeat customers reduce marketing costs, increase trust, and stabilize your income. Retention builds a reputation that sustains your business for many years. Risk management. Life happens, storms, illness, inflations, sudden emergency expenses, supply issues. Businesses that plan for shock survives them with less damage. Smart financing. Borrowing strategically strengthens your business. Borrowing emotionally destroys it. Putting all this together, When these 7 pillars are strengthful, your business becomes capable of handling pressure, able to adapt quickly to market changes. It's built on structure and not chaos, and is positioned for long-term success. So I will just try and dive in a little bit more to see if I can give you a little bit more. And I want to reiterate on that. I deliberately put them in that structure so that one, I could give you an overview, and then secondly, for you to look at them individually, right? So when I speak about the first pillar, cash flow discipline, cash flow is your number one predictor of how long you will survive. If your cash dries up, your business will suffocate, even if you are profitable on paper. Cash flow discipline is the first and most crucial element of long-term success. Build on your reserves, even if it's slow. Separate personal and business accounts. I cannot reiterate that enough. Even though you are running a small business, separate business and personal accounts. Focus on upcoming months. Have a head start and see what might happen ahead, which is where budgeting comes in. Reconcile weekly. By reconcile, I mean every week you look at what your expenses were, what your income is, look at what you are projected to sell. If you do deposit in the bank account, go for it, make sure it was deposited if you have any outstanding orders. So reconciliation is a process for most things that happen in your business. If you try to do that on once a week, then you would be on top of it. And when and if you do need that information, it's already at your fingertips. Protecting working capital like your life depends on it. When you discipline yourself with cash flow, you eliminate anxiety, you improve decision making, and you strengthen your business's resilience. Okay? Pricing for profit. Women often undercharge, not because the business is weak, but because confidence has been compromised. You cannot build a sustainable business on emotional pricing. Long-term success requires charging based on cost plus labor plus overhead plus profit. I'll repeat that again. Your base for the cost of your products, then you put labor. Did you all hear that? Labor. Then any overheads you might have. Overheads could include if you're paying a subscription for your accounting pro software, if you're paying for your merchant services, whatever monthly rates you pay for that, plus your profit. That is how you come up with pricing. Reviewing prices every 6 months, because again, the cost of your raw materials can change. The cost of your labor can change. Your overheads can change. So reviewing your prices every 6 months, introducing packages instead of endless discounts. So again, for those of you who are into cottage industries, instead of just giving discounts on your product, you can look at doing packages. So if you do 3 or 4 varieties of stuff, you can say, okay, if you get that package, then it encourages people to try more of what you're selling. And that's a sense of marketing as well. Being unapologetic about your worth. That is important. I'm not saying to be rude, but sometimes you have to explain it in simple terms where people can understand it. I will give you an example of that. I used to sell fish at the farmers market. And one day I had this lady come. Now, the way we do our fish is that when we know we come into the market, we get the fish, I think, about between 24 and 36 hours maximum before we come to the markets. And we would clean the fish, vacuum pack it, and we cannot freeze it. We have to keep it on ice. So we'd have to purchase the ice. So when we came to the market, we did all this very nicely packaged, very fresh fish. A lady walked up to me and says, oh, that fish is too expensive. And I politely said, okay, that's fine. I was trying to just be polite. And she came back again, that fish is expensive. I have a brother with a boat. So I was just thinking, and I'm saying, but this lady is not going to stop. She wants the fish, but she's just complaining about the price. And it was just her whole attitude too. And I just said to her, listen, you don't have to buy my fish. If you have a boat, then perhaps why are we arguing about the price of my fish? And then I suggested to her that I would rent a boat to her. She'd have to put gas in it. And she'd have to find somebody who can fish and go and fish, and then let's see how much she would pay for it. Immediately, her perspective changed and she just was quiet and she moved on. I say all this to let you know that whilst people may find your products costly, I don't say expensive because there's a cost to everything. You cannot always lower your price because somebody makes you feel bad about how high you sell it. If you are confident that this is what your product is worth, and if you sell it for less, you'll be at a loss, you have to stick to your ground. You have to also be confident that your product will speak for itself, and you have to try and sell it from that perspective. So when you price correctly, you can reinvest, hire help, buy equipment, and grow without stress. Pricing is not just about math. It's self-respect in financial form. So record keeping and compliance. Let's be honest, many businesses struggle here, but record keeping is your credibility. I want you to remember that. Record keeping is your credibility. Remember the scenario we did with the bank? Somebody who keeps records and somebody who doesn't. You can show up and you have your bookkeeping showing how much money you've made, your letters from the companies who buy from you. That makes you more credible than somebody who comes in and they have absolutely nothing, but just word of mouth saying that they sold this. It helps qualify your funding, avoid penalties, track performance, plan your growth, make clearer decisions, reduce financial anxiety. Start simple. Use a notebook if you must. What matters is consistency. Compliance protects you. It's not government threats. It's your legal shield and financial footprint. And in the context of Caribbean, when I talk about compliance, I talk about things like national insurance, like filing your tax returns, like if you do pay taxes for employees or you have to file certain government documents to ensure that you do it on time, so penalties and charges don't accumulate on you, and only when you need something from the government, it becomes really a pain for you to be able to get it because you have not followed through on those things where you legally you have to comply with. So record keeping and compliance is important. Record keeping gives you power, compliance gives you credibility. Remember that. Operations and systems. If your business exists only in your head, you are one crisis away from a collapse. Systems allow you to deliver consistently, even on your difficult days. Consider checklists, inventory processes, standardized customer communication, supplier agreements, booking and payment systems. Systems are gateways to scaling. They free you from chaos and reduce burnout. Customer retention and loyalty. It costs less to retain a customer than to find a new one. Retention stabilizes revenue, deepens trust, and builds long-term resilience. Simple ways to retain customers. Just follow up. Call and see how they're doing, get their feedback, see how you can improve whatever that you're doing. Deliver consistently. If you are selling a product, it comes out, is wonderful, but this month you're here, next month you're not there, it's not going to occur well for customer retention because they cannot rely on you for something that they want or need. Maintain visibility. Honor your word. If you promise you're going to make something somebody has ordered, try your best to deliver it. Provide after-sales care. Most people don't know this, but I am one of the opinion that believes that after-sale is even more important than getting the person to buy it. Because it only means that if you have good after-sales, the person will come back again. So if a customer comes and they are regular, they buy from you every week, and one week they complain you make bread, but there was a fly in the bread, quickly just take the bread and refund them their money, even if it's at a loss and you genuinely believe there was no fly. That is the way you provide good after sales. When customers trust you, they return, and return business is what stabilizes long-term income. Pillar 6, risk management and reliance. Prepared women lead stronger businesses. We live in a region where shocks are guaranteed, hurricanes, illnesses, economic shifts. Resilience is not accidental, it's planned. You protect your business by building emergency reserves. We spoke about that. in terms of your personal finance and having a reserve. For your business, it should be the same. You should have at least 6 months of reserves for your business. So in the eventuality something happens, you can still swim rather than sink. Backup supplies, crisis plans, insurances where feasible, digital backups of if you are somebody who uses technology. A resilient business bends but does not break. Reliance is a skill, not a personality trait. Pillar 7, last but by no means least, smart financing. We must shift from borrowing to patch problems and move into borrowing to build capacity. So a lot of small businesses tend to borrow because there's an issue, they can't pay this bill, they can't do this, or they need an emergency funding because they need to do that. Rather than borrow to patch problems, you should look at borrowing to build capacity. Smart financing is intentional. You borrow for things like equipment, for expansion, for increased production, but you should always borrow with a repayment plan in mind. So if you are going to borrow, you should have an idea of what you can afford to pay back and have that payment plan in mind, and try your best that whatever borrowing you do does not exceed that payment plan. Bad financing habits leads to stress, stagnation, and shutdown. Smart financing leads to growth, credibility, and long-term success. Country context. So, know your ecosystem. At the moment, we're doing this financial literacy across 3 regions. And although we are all Caribbean women, but by virtue from being from these 3 islands, there are things that are unique about us. There are things that are unique about our community, about the resources, the availability, about even the way our governments provide us services. So each island has a very distinct environment. For instance, in St. Lucia, we have high competition, strong tourism linkages, right? So the strategy must be tight to be able to operate in an environment like that. In St. Kitts, I believe you have a bit of higher income levels, you have stronger demand for services, and you have a very supportive SME ecosystem. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you have a growing creative economy. You have a strong agro-processing potential and community-focused markets. Understanding your island will help you choose the right pricing, marketing, financing, and expansion strategies. I say this to tell you that just because a sister from Helen's Daughters is doing jams, I'm not to say that the jams will not do well, but there's still stuff that is distinct about us. So what I say is to look for that thing that your community, that your own environment would value and pay for, and look at what you can produce to be able to help them, which is what I mean by context. Contextualize your business and your market for your individual country. What will work in St. Lucia may not work necessarily in Jamaica, okay? So look at the realities, look at the opportunities, and what constraints you may face in accomplishing your goals, okay? The big one, that one we will spend a little time on it, because I believe that with small and micro businesses, in order to avoid one burnout, and I will talk a little bit more about burnout later, technology is so important in leveraging your business. So ladies, one of the biggest accelerators of long-term success in today's world is technology. And you do not need expensive software or complicated systems to benefit from it. The truth is, women who leverage basic, accessible technology grow faster, manage better, and even more consistently. Tonight, we'll look at simple tools that can dramatically strengthen your sustainability. We'll look at debit and credit card machines, online ordering, WhatsApp business, digital receipts, social media automations, inventory and sales apps, digital payment tools. Those tools will help you scale, serve clients better, reduce stress, and keep better records. All foundations of long-term success. Point of sale terminals, or debit and credit card machines, as we would call them every day. How does it help to sustain long-term growth? You reduce your dependency on cash-only customers. I think we spoke about that earlier. If you're a business and you only accept cash, somebody who comes will probably only have $20 just to purchase one thing from you, or that one thing that they know. However, they happen to see something else, but they don't have any more cash. But most people in today's world have a debit card or a credit card. And if they have that and you have a machine, you are opening yourself up to generate more revenue. You increase impulse purchases. Whilst that may not be good for the consumer, but it's good for you as the business owner. You eliminate, I don't have cash right now, losses. You look more professional. You automatically create digital sales records, right? An example of that, so in St. Lucia, for instance, if you go to the Helen's Daughters Market at Rodney Bay and you added a card machine to your sales, undoubtedly on the days that the tourists are in Rodney Bay, that would increase because tourists generally don't carry cash. Or if, for instance, you sold your products next to the cruise ship port in Castries, you would probably make more sales because most tourists don't carry cash. In St. Kitts, a food vendor at Port Zant, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I have been there, or Zante, is that how you pronounce it? Who starts taking card payments and they would instantly become more competitive. A boutique owner in Kingstown, would see fewer people say, hold this for me, or cancellations once they can accept credit cards. So I want you to look at the long-term benefits, greater revenue, stronger record keeping, and better access to credit because your transactions are traceable. Okay? Now, it may seem like you have a very small business and you're only taking in $100, $200 a day. But what will happen if you have a debit or credit card machine? Inevitably, your sales will go up. Online ordering. So you have Google Forms, which is a simple thing. And again, we'll get to the end of that, but I think I did share some resources for you all to learn how to use resources like that online. One day when you're on YouTube scrolling or watching shorts, so just take 10 minutes and go on EDX or Coursera and see what you can learn about Google Forms, right? If you're somebody who sells food items, WhatsApp has an amazing platform where you can put your order menus. People can place orders via WhatsApp Business for you to be able to order stuff from your small business. I believe Facebook has a shop and Instagram where you can post stuff. How does that help to sustain long-term growth? You reduce back and forth confusion. You get orders whilst you're sleeping or you're busy. You capture customers' information automatically. You appear more modern and accessible. You can upsell and cross-sell more easily. So, let's say, for instance, you had a meal prep business. So you were into selling local meal prep. So people who are busy like myself, you just prep the meals and simply I just put it together and have dinner or lunch so I don't have thing. You can use a weekly Google form menu that fills out everybody's order. That is so simple to do, and then immediately you get it back. So you're able to share the Google form on a platform like WhatsApp, and when a busy person like me finally gets to bed, then I will go through it and say, oh, let me look at what the menu is for this week for Wendy's new business venture. And immediately I just press it, I order it because I have that convenience. So small businesses can benefit from technology more than you guys probably understand. A cake decorator, for instance, if we have any in the house, can send the link for the online order instead of messaging for hours. So somebody's ordering a cake from you and they want to tell you to put blue there, put green there, put and you have to be on the phone and you're just going backward and forward to get the concept. An online order would remove all that doubt, and you would have a record. So when and if you did exactly what the customer did, they can't come back and say, "Oh, you didn't understand the concept." If any of you are seamstress and make clothing items, using online measurements to avoid the client coming backward and forward to you would be a good way to be able to do it. So consistent sales, fewer errors, and smoother operations, essential for scaling. WhatsApp business, how can you use it? Automated greetings. Sometimes particularly if we are sole entrepreneurs, we don't have the time. So when you're busy making your product, preparing it, that's when customers are getting to you. But you can use automated greetings on WhatsApp business to tell the person, "I'm sorry, we're away from our phone. Please leave a message." So every time a new person sends a message, you have a lovely greeting waiting for them. And you can put a time frame they should expect you to return their message and stuff like that. WhatsApp business allow you to put a catalog of your products. So you can take pictures of all your products, attach a price to it. So when I go on that WhatsApp business now, I can just click and I can see all what's available to me and I can tell you what I'd like to buy. WhatsApp business allows for the customer to know what your business hours are, right? You can now use it to label your customers, to be able to organize your own customers. You can send out broadcast lists. So when you have a special on offer or you vendor who moves from place to place, you can let them know where you're going to be this weekend and how they can support you. It helps to sustain long-term growth. It reduces time spent answering repeated questions. It makes your communication looks professional. It helps organize customers and tracks orders. It ensures no leads are forgotten. So sometimes you'll get a call or message and you didn't write it down because you were too busy and you completely forgot. And that could have been a good business opportunity for you. So if you use WhatsApp business, and I believe you can have WhatsApp business simultaneous to your personal WhatsApp on your phone, but you must have two separate numbers attached to it. So you can have WhatsApp business on your phone. Okay? So if, for instance, you were a nail tech, and I don't know that we have any in the house, quickly replies for pricing info can save you so many hours a week, right? If you're a catering company, you can showcase your menu packages right there on WhatsApp business. A fruit vendor, you can broadcast your bundles specials every Monday to let your clients know what you have available for the week. So essentially with WhatsApp business, you can get better customer engagement, higher retention, and a more stable income. Sending digital receipts and invoices via WhatsApp or email. Creating a digital paper trail for accounting. It helps you apply for things like loans and grants. So you now can prove when you go and do those very same things we spoke about in week 2, that listen, I have all these things that I send to customers digitally. You can show it because you have evidence of what you received and what you have outstanding. It builds trust with your customers. It reduces disputes. It supports a smoother tax filing system. Again, I like to give examples of how that can benefit you. And I don't know, for some reason, I keep bringing up a hairdresser. But if you're a hairdresser, there's a nail tech, there's this free program called Fresher that you can use and put your business on it. And automatically it would send the client a reminder. It would also send them a receipt or an invoice. It would allow them to book. Okay? And if you just have a Google account, just like you can use the Google Forms, you can actually take photos of the receipts and you can file them in Google Drive. That's a free service for you, I guess up to a limit. But if you're a small business, I don't anticipate the free limit you have will expire quickly. And if it does, it doesn't cost that much for you to be able to upgrade for a bigger limit on Google Drive. And again, in order to be able to use these Google resources you have for free, you can access courses on Coursera and edX. They are available. Better financial records means better access to funding, and I cannot reiterate that enough, and smoother growth. Social media scheduling and advertising. So you have websites like Canva that can help you build and and create flyers. And again, you don't need to print anymore because everybody's on their phone. So you can use Canva. I believe they have a free set, thing, but you can also upgrade and get the pro one. It'll help you do flyers that you can send digitally to your customers. You can learn how to do Instagram reels, TikTok short videos. So you can use these things to your advantage rather than watching what other people are doing. So think about all what you see and how you can maybe use these things for your advantage to promote your business. How does this help to sustain long-term growth? It keeps your brand visibility even on busy days. Even when you're busy, your brand remains visible. It builds community and credibility over time. It helps customers to remember you. It drives long-term demand and loyalty. So, for instance, if you're somebody who gives advice on how to use um, local remedies and stuff like that, you could post daily tips, let's say every Saturday night or Sunday night, so that your customers, and you might find that they look forward to seeing these things, to hearing them, to telling them what they can do with things in their home, around their homes. Um, if you're a soap maker, for instance, I think we have somebody at Helen's Daughters who makes soap. Once a month, you can have scheduled posts that can trigger engagements. Again, there are courses, free courses on the websites that I told you about that will assist you in doing these things. Or you have children, utilize your children, pay them a small fee from whatever profits the business make. And that too will encourage your kids. For all you know, they might end up owning businesses that run and do these things for people as they get busier. So if you have kids, encourage them to get involved in that aspect of technology and to teach you as well, to be able to help your business grow. And you can employ them to do it. I'm not expecting you to ask them to do it for free. Inventory and sales app. So you have Excel and Google Sheets again, we spoke about earlier. There's I don't think we can use Square in St. Lucia, but for those of you who are familiar, it's a little thing that you can attach to your phone and you can swipe cards and take payments. But I don't think we can think it, except if you have PayPal, you might be able to use it and send the money to PayPal. But then PayPal is a bit costly, so I wouldn't recommend that. I think it's cheaper to get a POS locally with one of the local banks. How does that help sustain long-term growth? You know exactly what you sell, you prevent stock outs, you buy smarter and waste less, you price more accurately, you reduce stress during busy seasons. Um, so mobile banking and digital payments. Online banking, we spoke about that last week, and I'm not sure how many of y'all, if y'all can just give me a thumbs up to see how many of y'all use online banking. Thumbs up, engage with me. How many of y'all use online banking? That's great. That's great. That's great. So online banking is a tool, I believe, that is going to become essential for banking. For those of you who have banks, I know for sure now most of the all the Caribbean islands. So if you, for instance, I'm going to use an example for Republic Bank. You can do peer-to-peer transfers, I believe. So if somebody, but it only happens within the banks. So for instance, if you're somewhere and you want to sell something, I know Bank of St. Lucia and I think is the local bank in SVG too. You can actually have what you call a mobile ID and somebody can transfer money to you via that. There are other methods of payment. What's this one called? This morning I came over it, because I even have a credit on it, where you can transfer money by email to certain businesses who register with it. So if somebody comes and they don't have money, but they have access to these things, you can still set up all these different platforms to ensure that you'd never miss a sale. Okay, e-transfer. You have a large order, a customer wants to pay you for something, you on one end of the island, you on the other end of the island, you can arrange for transportation or you require a deposit so to make sure you don't lose out on costs. You can always ask to do an e-transfer. Nobody can get into your bank account by you giving them your account number. Give them your account number, ask them to make a deposit and to send you the receipt once it's been made. You might find that it's easier for the customer and more convenient because they can sit at their computer and make a transfer to you. And the money is deposited into your account. You have record keeping and you now have a a transaction recorded that would help you with funding eventually. So we have stuff like PayPal, that's considered digital payments tool. There's Carib Pay, depending on the island that you are. So PayPal, we pay, I believe as well. Some of the islands use, like Trinidad. But the fees associated with these, you have to be mindful. So choose the ones that are more in line with what you can afford. Always ask about the fees. Don't get too excited and say, oh, yeah, this is working. But then when it's time to get your monies deposited into your account, you've lost 10 or 15% of your payments. And if that is the case and you choose that's a good method for you, you can do it. But what you would do is to include that percentage in the pricing of your product. So thereby this extra cost is not eating into your profits. So if a customer is going to pay you by a method that has a fee attached to it, you need to know that fee so you can take that into account and you're not losing. Because remember, you are providing the customer paying you by that method with a convenience. Yes, you are getting a sale, but you have to factor those things in. And sometimes you may be able to allow it to just go through and it's already factored into the cost. So I'm just saying to think about these things. How does all this help? Again, faster payments, clear transaction records, easier reconciliation, more credibility with customers and lenders. So, for instance, many businesses now might ask for a deposit via online transfer before they do your hair. I know a lot of hairdressers are asking for that now, and it helps customers show up and keeps the appointment, so it avoids cancellations. Vendors might ask you to make mobile payments instead of cashing, using cash. A craft seller may accept PayPals for people from overseas. So sometimes you have the diaspora overseas and there's a product that people like and they'll say, oh, can I send the money for you via PayPal? I'm on my way to St. Lucia. So there are different means and different ways of collecting cash that's technology based. And I would urge you all to go with the times, look at what can help your business. So even if you're a one-woman business, technology helps you look structured, organized, and professional, and that boosts customer confidence and brand reputation. Examples: auto messages that makes it makes them feel like they're talking to a customer service rep. Online forms that makes you feel like a real booking system. Digital receipts that look like official business tools, catalogs that look like mini websites. The long-term benefits is the professional image, the stronger reputation, the higher willingness to pay. So putting all this together, technology will equal sustainable growth. Technology helps you to increase sales, improve customers' experience, keep proper records, reduce stress and burnout, run operations smoothly, build a modern, competitive brand, and it prepares you for loans, grants, applications, and even for expansion of your business. Technology is not for big business, it's for smart businesses. And smart businesses thrive, grow, and last. Okay? So, growth is not linear, it's a cycle. So today, and I'm sorry about the sustain. I was trying to figure out how to do this. So I too need some technology. I probably need a course in digital art or something like that. But that was the best I could come up with. So instead of having a straight line where something starts and it ends, I am of the mindset that growth is a cycle. Okay? So you plan, you test, you learn, you improve, and there's always room for improvement. You scale either up or down, and then you sustain, and then the cycle happens again. This is how resilient, forward-thinking businesses evolve. Repeat the cycle every quarter, and you will always be improving and staying relevant. So, for instance, I just want to give an example. Do you remember back in the day when we needed, for instance, a calculator or we needed a computer? We would have these specialized businesses in the Caribbean because there was no internet. We couldn't go online. It was just one company ordering them, selling them, right? Now, as people became more technologically savvy, some of these businesses have not evolved to be able to accommodate the time. So what is happening is that they are staying behind. So if, for instance, you have a business that 20 years ago it benefited. So let's look at, for instance, people who sell clothes. They used to call them speculators. They would go away to Venezuela, the United States, come back and sell clothes. But now with the advent of Shein, everybody can just order clothes and it gets here. However, it does take time to get here. I don't know how nobody haven't thought about just opening a Shein shop here, buying in bulk directly from Shein and having a shop where somebody can just walk in, get the, because you still have to pay customs duties when it gets here. So you would be able to make a profit, but you would have volume. I would come to that shop because sometimes you want to order something and then it takes you a week to get it, 2 weeks, but you could have a lot of things at one time. So that is what I'm talking about. So if you are a speculator now, the advent of Amazon and Shein is putting a dent in your pocket. Would it not be more to move with the times and say, okay, this is what the market wants. How can I get it to the market and still make a profit while still staying in the same industry? So this is an example of what I mean by plan. You test and see whether it's going to work. You learn, because you will always make mistakes. You learn, and the next cycle, hopefully you don't repeat the same mistakes, but there will be something else for you to learn from. You improve. You make a decision whether to scale up, scale down, scale back, and then you sustain and you do it all over again. So I just want you to remember, growth is not linear, it's a cycle. So one of the things I wanted to talk about this evening was burnout. Burnout is a real thing. You cannot build a future from exhaustion. Burnout is the silent killer of Caribbean women in businesses. A sustainable business requires a sustainable you. Protect your energy by setting working hours, taking rest seriously, delegating where possible, using technology, and saying no when necessary. Even I have to learn a little bit from that. So that's one of the slides I am going to take away. So although I am facilitating this webinar, I want you all to know that whilst doing research to come here and plan, and the last cohort, I didn't really do anything about that, but even I too suffer from some burnout. So I think this was important for me to remind myself. So hands up to those of you who think that you may suffer from burnout. Um, let me see how many people, or all of you are completely relaxed. You are taking life easily. You do suffer from burnout, yeah? Okay, so this one is for you. And I know some of you don't have businesses and this may not be applicable to you, but even without businesses, we suffer from burnout, okay? So a Caribbean woman's reality, why managing your energy is a business strategy. Let's take a moment to speak frankly about something we as Caribbean women experience far too often, but rarely acknowledge out loud. Burnout. You're tired. You lethargic. You just feeling stress. We call it all the time, right? Or sometimes you're not feeling it because you don't even know you're stressed because you just feel you have to keep going. Women in our region are some of the hardest working people on the planet. We carry multiple roles: business owner, mother, partner, wife, caregiver, employee, community member, and somehow we still try to be everything to everyone. And what happens? We normalize exhaustion. We call it pushing through. We tell people I'm good, even when we're operating on fumes. But here's the truth: burnout is not a badge of honor, it's a business risk. A burnout businesswoman is less creative, less patient, less strategic, more prone to errors, more likely to abandon the business during a crisis. This is not a weakness, it is biology, it is reality, and it must be managed deliberately. Why burnout hits us harder? Caribbean women are uniquely affected because many of us are running businesses alone without staff, juggling side hustles while still holding full-time jobs. I can identify. How many of you can identify with that? Right? Carrying the emotional and financial load of extended families. operating in economies with high cost of living and inconsistent demand, supporting children, elderly parents, nieces, nephews, often all at once, managing cultural expectations that women must always be strong. This creates a pressure cooker environment where burnout becomes inevitable unless managed proactively. But the women in this cohort, I am already speaking it into existence for you, right? That you all will show something powerful. You will learn to pause. You will learn to plan. You will learn to structure. You will learn to delegate. And you will have learned to think like CEOs and not hustlers, irregardless of the size of your business. And if you do that, that shift alone extends in your life, in the life of your business. Signs of burnout that we must stop ignoring. And by we, I put myself in this wholeheartedly. Feeling overwhelmed by simple tasks, constant fatigue even after sleeping, losing excitement for your business. How many of you have started a business and you at it, you're working so hard, but after a while you just lose the excitement? You become easily irritated, working constantly and not feeling productive, forgetting things you normally would remember, feeling like you're always behind. These are not signs that you're failing. These are signs that you need support, a system, and rest. So, strategies to help you avoid burnout. Set boundaries without apology. Sometimes you just have to say, fudge that. I can't say the real thing here, but you guys know what I mean, right? Leave that alone. You cannot serve customers from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Choose your hours, announce them, and stick to them. Delegate where you can. Delegate small tasks, deliveries, bagging, packaging, posting updates, data entry. Most of us have kids. Encourage the kids and the entrepreneurial spirit by getting them involved, even if that means you have to pay them a bit. It will also encourage them to develop their own entrepreneurial spirits and nurture and mold that. Data entry. Your kids, or you might have a friend who actually likes maths or likes being on the computer. Delegate so that they can assist you. Inventory checks. Even paying someone $30 or $50 to assist for a few hours saves hours of mental load. Automate, automate, automate. Technology reduces labor. WhatsApp business auto replies, schedule social media posts, preset message templates, online forms, digital receipts, debit card machines. These tools remove human strain and reduce repetition. Protect your health like a business asset. Your body is your first employee. If you are down, your business is down. So I encourage you to schedule rest, hydration, a weekly no work evening, a monthly reset day, some quiet time. This is strategy, not luxury. Build a support network. Women should not be doing business alone. Find accountability partners, join community groups, partner with other business women on busy days. Share the load. Work with your energy, not against it. Some women operate best in the early mornings, others in the evenings. I know I'm an early person. I need to be in bed by 8 o'clock. Plan tasks based on when you function at your best. So if you're an early morning person, try to get the most important things done early in the morning. The big massage. Caribbean women are natural providers, natural leaders, natural survivors. But even the strongest among us break when we carry everything alone. Burnout is not a personal failure. It is a structural issue, and smart women manage it intentionally. Avoiding burnout is not self-care. It is business management. Sorry. It is longevity. It is sustainability. It is legacy. Your business cannot thrive if the woman driving it is worn out. And you deserve to operate from strength, not exhaustion. So hands up or thumbs up to everybody who's going to take burnout a bit more serious, who's going to make a plan this weekend to take a few hours for yourself, to value you, whether it's you employed or you have a side hustle, and to understand that time off for yourself is equally as important as the time you put in the business. Without you, there is no business. Okay? So I'm conscious I want to spend some time with you also. 7, we're doing good for time. That's fantastic. So growth toolkit. I wanted to share with you again a little bit about stuff that's relevant to growing and keeping your business and getting longevity out of your business. So we've already established that using technology makes your business lighter and more professional. So I just wanted to share some simple tools with you all. So make a note, take a picture of the screen. Wave, QuickBooks Online. There is Trello, Notion. I used Notion a few years ago for a program I was doing, and I found it a bit difficult. But for some reason, they seem to have upgrades that will help you streamline and create workflows. So I unfortunately did not get a chance to go through it completely before I spoke to you this evening. So please feel free to search in your leisure time and have a look and see how it can benefit you. Google Drive. For me, Google Drive is an amazing tool. I'm able to share documents with my team on Google Drive. I'm able to save things and update it in real time. So again, look at these things that are available to you. And for those of you with a Gmail account, Google Drive is free for you. Instagram and WhatsApp business. EDX and Coursera, right? Technology helps you scale, stay organized, strengthen your brand, and reduce stress. Simple, accessible tools that strengthen, operate, reduce stress, and support long-term growth. In today's business environment, technology isn't optional. It's a strategic advantage. Those tools make your business more professional. I cannot reiterate more efficient, more visible, more credible, more resilient. And the best part, most of them are free or very low cost and easy to access, even in St. Lucia, even in St. Kitts and Nevis, and even in St. Vincent. They are free for you to access. So I'm going to just talk through a little bit of them. So accounting tools, that's my part of the house. That's my thing. That's professionally, that's what I do. So I can definitely tell you about how that works. So for instance, Wave and QuickBooks. Similar, QuickBooks is a nominal fee. It's not completely free, but QuickBooks has different tiers. And if you have a small business, you really don't need the most expensive QuickBooks. You can start with the basic one that tracks your income and your expenses. It allows you to send invoices, generate receipts, create basic financial reports. So when you have to apply for a grant or a loan and they tell you need a financial report and you have to go and pay somebody to make up numbers for you, which isn't honest and will not allow you to make a reliable and safe decision in terms of your repayment for those funding that you're taking. So I would say that you could start with something like Wave, which is free. Wave would allow you to do all these things, while at the same time, if you need to apply for funding, if you can just pull up that report in real time and provide it. Record keeping, remember, is one of the pillars of long-term business success. Wave gives you a professional documentation without any cost. It's ease of access, it's 100% free, it's cloud-based, meaning it's free from your phone or your laptop. All you have to do is to sign up with an email. I think it's called, the website is www.wavesapp.com, but just Google it, Wave, W-A-V, Wave accounting software. QuickBooks, on the other hand, there is the cheapest program called Simple Start. And last I checked, I think it's probably about, I think we do it for as little as $15 AC a month. I'm not sure if you bought it online, how much it would be, but yes, it's paid, but I still think it's affordable if you want to keep track of your financing. What it does, it tracks your finances, and in QuickBooks, you're able to manage invoices, handle receipts. It even allows you to track inventory. It prepares you for the banks, the investors, and if you were to have any audit. So if, for instance, normally grant funding, yes, it's for free, but they might have a component where they might want to audit your record keeping. So QuickBooks would be helpful for that. QuickBooks in some countries, I don't think here yet, although I think it does sync with CIBC. It can sync directly with your bank account where you can just import the information from it and into QuickBooks directly so you can do your reconciliation. Why does this matter? This is the system used by many professional accountants and financial institutions. It increases your financial confidence and credibility. Ease of access. It's a simple monthly subscription. It's available as an app. In QuickBooks, for instance, I know when you get receipts, instead of the receipts fading, as soon as you get a receipt, you can take a picture with your phone. QuickBooks actually is so clever. QuickBooks can upload that directly into your accounting thing. It will pull up the amount you paid on the receipt. It will even guess which department it should be posted to. You'll have to review it later on, but it's a very helpful tool. And automatically, whoever is reviewing your accounts, a copy of that receipt is there to see to make any corrections that needs to do. So that's a good thing. We can look at some of the productivity tools like Trello, Notion, Google Sheets, right? These productivity tools allows you to organize workflows. It helps you to keep track of your customer, manage any tasks and deadlines you have, create visual boards for planning. So Trello, for instance, helps to create structure, ensuring nothing slips through the cracks, a major factor in customer retention and reducing stress. There's a really good free plan for Trello, right? You can go on www.trello.com. Notion, there's free versions available too. It's an all-in-one business hub. It stores contacts for your customers, prices, menus, inventory lists. You can do project planning in there, team collaborations. Notion lets you centralize your business thinking, removing confusion and making your operation more consistent. But I must admit, I found Notion a little bit too tedious. So I'm not sure what not work for me may work for you. Google Sheets. Google Sheets is absolutely free. What does it do? It can track your finances, your stock. It can build a customer list. Why does that matter? It's easy, it's familiar, it's perfect for beginners. It's your first step towards building a strong record-keeping habit. Google Sheets is completely free if you have a Gmail account. So, sorry. We spoke earlier about Canva and how you can use it to define flyers, menus, price lists, logos. Why does that matter again? It helps you with brand recognition. It allows customers to derive some kind of trust in you. Last but not least, I wanted to talk to you again about digital learning tools. You're on your phone most of the time. Coursera and edX offers courses from reputable institutions such as Harvard, MIT, and many other universities. They have a lot of courses on finance, marketing, business planning, and leadership. Again, why does this matter? Long-term success requires ongoing learning, especially in business strategy. Do you remember that cycle of growth we spoke about? Again, you have to learn, you have to improve. And how are you going to do that if you don't take advantage of things that are available to you, particularly if it's free, right? Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Let me just take a sip of water. So Coursera is free with some paid options. So most of the courses you can do for free, except if you want the certificate to show and you can use the certificate on your CV, then there's a small fee to pay for you to be able to get it. It's affordable skill building. There's so much about business, finance, digital marketing, and entrepreneurship. It helps you to sharpen the tools you need for scaling your business. There's also a curriculum learning hub. So I will implore you to look at that. It's free. It's Caribbean focused content. It's about small business development. There's a lot on agriculture and agro processing. There's tourism skill, digital literacy. Again, it matters because it provides training that reflects the realities of our region. And again, we spoke about things like WhatsApp business, digital receipts. Utilize these things. Customers expect fast professional communication. So WhatsApp business boosts retention. which again is a major driver for long-term stability. Digital receipts, send your receipts by WhatsApp or email, right? This growth toolkit is not about being like, stouch. It's about making your business easier to run, more professional, more consistent, more credible, more resilient. These tools support every one of the 7 pillars and directly contribute towards long-term business longevity. Okay? So, growth readiness checklist. I want you to think about all what we've spoken about over the last 3 sessions and now our 4th session. And when you leave here today, next week, I want you to ask yourself some questions. And when you can answer those questions, you will know you're ready. And I did put a few questions and put some timelines next to it, and I'm hoping that's when you're going to be ready. I know my numbers, so I've looked at the numbers for my business. So next week, you can sit down, put a list together. I've sent some resources in the chat groups. I'm hoping they posted it. Did you guys receive the template for the budget? A simple 1-page business plan, because I didn't want to make it complicated for you. So try and use it, write it down, and in a week, ask yourself, do you know your numbers? I price with profit. Have you decided to look at the cost of your stuff to put your labor, your overheads, and your profit on it? I hope that by week 2, you can accomplish that. You are compliant. So the things that you need to put in order to be able to make your business grow, by week 3, you would have put those things in order. Tonight, do you have any backup plans? When we finish this tonight, you should be able to reliably say, I have a backup plan. And last but by no means least, right now, I just want you to take a breath and tell yourself, I am well. I am well. And if you can remind yourself that you are well and do the things that surround you to be well, then you are already a long way in preventing burnout prevention. Sorry, in preventing burnout. It looks like I'm burnout too because I'm talking nonsense now. Anyway, the checklist is designed to reveal where you are strong and where you need support. So do you know your numbers? Are you pricing properly? Are you compliant? Do you have backup plans? A business cannot outrun the capacity of the woman leading it. It cannot. Did you hear that statement? A business cannot outrun the capacity of the woman leading it. Okay? So, reflection and call to action. After our 4 sessions, I want you to tell yourself that you have everything you need to build something that will last. I do believe that if you can take away anything and you can look at what we've done, spoken about, how we've interacted, you have everything you need to build something that will last. Tonight is not the end. It is your beginning. You are capable, you are strategic, you have the tools, you have the network. You have the discipline to build a business that transforms your life and influences your family for generations, if that is what you choose. Walk into this next chapter with confidence. Confidence. When I started planning for this a while back, when I was asked to do this, one of the things I always try and put is inspiring success stories or look at women in the Caribbean. You remember the first one, I had this Jamaican entrepreneur, which I'm not sure if any of you looked at her. But tonight, I purposely filmed this thing about women. And if you notice all my pictures and my slides about women smiling, coming together, working, doing what we do best. But the real success story of this program are you. It's you, right? You didn't need to attend these sessions, but you did. You put the work in, you asked the questions. I'm hoping that you will make the changes and you've planted some seeds for your future. You guys are the proof that Caribbean women are if given the right tools, the right environment, and the right support structure, you will all rise, you will thrive, and you will build a business that will endure. This cohort I sense and feel the potential of all the success stories that will be in you in the months and in the years to come. So you are the success stories, and your journeys will continue. So, what time is it now? Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank Helen's Daughters. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your unwavering commitment to women's empowerment across the region. Your vision, your leadership, your investment in community development are the reasons programs like this exist. You are shaping futures, strengthening households, and building economic resilience island by island. And I get goosebumps as I say it because I truly believe that is the case. To the entire program team and the people behind the scenes who ensured that these sessions run smoothly, your professionalism, Shakwana, it's created a space for learning to happen. And lastly, but by no means least, to each and every one of you who have participated over the last 4 sessions, you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for your curiosity and your willingness to engage in these sessions. Over the past 2 weeks, you've taken time to soak in the information that has the power to change your personal financing, strengthen your business ideas, and create the ripple effects for your families and for your communities. You may not know it yet, but every small shift, the way you track your money, the way you price your work, and the way you plan, the way you think about credit, the way you think about credit, I want you to remember that one. The way you position your business, all those are steps towards greater stability and a greater opportunity. Not every transformation is or should be loud. Some are quiet, internal, and deeply personal. And those are often the ones that last. I want each of you to take what resonated with you. And I know everything that I spoke about, everything that I said may not affect or impact you directly. Even if it was just that one concept, that one tool, that one way of thinking, I would like you to turn it into something meaningful. For instance, greater financial confidence, stronger money habits, a business you finally can start, a hobby that becomes an income stream, a service you define and price properly, a financial decision you will make with clarity, or simply more control and peace in your household finances. These are the things that change families. These are the things that strengthen communities. And these are the things that build generational resilience. Your presence here over the last 2 weeks was an investment in yourself. And that alone already makes you a success in motion. With all that, I'd love to open the floor for your thoughts, your question, your reflections, and what your next steps perhaps might be. And I will look forward to catching up with you all in the future, perhaps not on this program, but on another one. So let's have an open, a grounded discussion about what stood out for you and how you plan to use it to move forward, and any questions perhaps you might have. So again, I want to a heartfelt thank you to all of you and to Helen's Daughters for allowing me to be able to share my experiences with you. My email address is on the screen. I did respond to everybody's email. There's one person I need to make an appointment with, and I promise you I will as soon as I have my schedule for next week. And I do understand there's some urgency to it. But again, Shakwana, if you can open the floor, I would be happy.
Firstly, before I open the store, I just want to thank you for those who participated tonight for the 4-day session with you, Miss Danielle. It was truly very informative as we explore. For me, what stood out was the 7 pillar and the pillar for sustainability and how effective technology is in our business because we're in a modern society. So thank you so much for your engagement and your contribution because it made the experience more meaningful. So we do have few questions. So given the fact that Aneska hand is up and she didn't post it in the chat, I'm going to give her permission to speak. And before we dive into Joycelyn, I want to tackle some questions in the box. and the chat. So you could go ahead, Aneska. Permission was given for you to speak. Aneska, are you hearing me? Okay. Okay. So while she sort that out, the first question in the chat is from Maureen. She's asking, what do you do to combat theft in your business, despite the fact that you have put all the measures in place, like security, CCTV, and the works? So really, how do you deal with theft in your business if you already put all the necessary measures in place?
I'm guessing she's talking about theft by employee. So first of all, you fire them. That's one thing I have no tolerance for. Get rid of them because it's not going to stop. It doesn't matter how good they are, how nice they are, how reliable they are. If somebody is stealing from you, get rid of them. Secondly, you would probably have to revisit your structures and the stuff you put in place. You need to have more than one fail-safe when you have business. So in some of my businesses, a lot of our stuff is digital, but we do have some handwritten records. Now, the handwritten records are actually deliberate. So when and if there is an error, we can go back to it. If cash is being collected in a business and you have people working for you, one of the things I always say, when somebody is over with your cash, you have to be equally as strict so they can find the error as if they are short. Because 99.9% of the times, people are inherently honest and it's an error that they made. But if you're speaking about theft for employees, if you're having a problem with theft for employees, get rid of them. No questions asked. I hope that answers your question.
All right, thank you so much. Melinda is asking, should there be a minimum purchase with your CAD machine?
Okay, so Melinda, I'm not sure if you're asking from the perspective of a business person or a client. Visa has stated unequivocally, and you guys can check it out, you can call your banks, that you cannot have a minimum purchase because a card is a legal tender. If you wanted to pay for 10 cents with your card, no merchant can prevent you from. However, some of the merchants don't understand the concept of a card and they look at it as a risk. So they will say you have to spend $50 or minimum to pay with your card. That is not the truth. Even ID card, you don't have to give ID now with the cards. Recently in St. Lucia, I know that some of the banks have embarked on educational programs for their merchant services to let them know that some of the things they're doing are not acceptable by Visa. So there should be no minimum. There is no minimum to pay on your card. However, some businesses think that if they tell you there's a minimum, then you will buy more. But there is no minimum to buy on a card. I can tell you that unequivocally, okay? It's just businesses putting these policies in place themselves. And I know there'll be a follow-up question about that one, so I'm ready to answer it too. Next one.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna give Joycelyn permission to speak so she can go ahead and ask a question. So you are
No
given
problem.
permission, Miss Eugene.
Thank you. Can you hear? Okay. Thank you. Once again, thank you so much, Davy, for your passion and your, the reality of your genuineness, because you understand, I suppose, women and trying all of the struggles we can go through. So for me, my question is, well, I appreciate the cash flow information, the finance information, because I've not been a good money manager. And as I listened and I followed through, I realized one of the things I did not do is when I started, even working with the farmer, I did not record, like each time I paid him or I paid the people. And then I didn't have a budget for what I was doing. It was coming out of my salary, like basic. And I just wanted to see what could happen on the land. So I didn't really record any of these things. And now I'm looking, I didn't really record what what I planted. I didn't put dates. So I think what this has done for me was really help me to realize that I need to get more structure in what I'm doing. I just tried to reflect on what I have. I have planted like 22 different things all over the place. all over the place. Some of the fruit trees were there already and so on. But I planted sweet peppers, bell peppers, cherry tomatoes, sorrel, sweet potato, bagay. But I don't have in my mind a clear idea as to what the crop is or what exactly I'm going to do with it. So this presentation has helped me to realize, okay, I need to come to that place. I need to identify what that business could look like that I may be getting into. I need to put structure in that, and then I need to my worth. Now, that's disclosure, not because I think a few of the people here know me. I'm a counselor by profession. However, it's so difficult for me to charge clients when I'm doing private work. So my full-time job is with government, so that comes with one. But whenever I have to see a client and I know people have challenges, I start to, think, but when people go to the dentist and they go to the gynecologist and whatever, they pay their money.
Exactly. So you are creating a bad precedent.
Right.
And it's not so much so that you cannot give back. And I genuinely believe in giving back. My businesses, every business I form it with the intention of some kind of social responsibility. So the way you can capture that and to be able to make it fair whilst remaining business minded is to say, for instance, I can afford to give $300 worth of services for the year. But you have to decide a criteria upon which you want to give it. So, for instance, why would you be giving somebody free service and they have a $3,000 iPhone? Does that make sense? So
Yes.
the priorities, you want counseling, you can afford to get those stuff, but you can't afford my services. So what you can do is to sort out the people who need your help most and give it to them for free. And the people who can afford to pay you, have a means tested thing. Figure out a means way to be able to give back. Giving back in your business is not a bad thing. And Joycelyn, I don't mean to cut you short. I hope you finished. We can always come back. But I just wanted to point out to somebody who said similar thing in the chat about they have a problem with pricing. They find it difficult pricing, mainly because the customers can be so verbal about costing. Until I met a chef at a program, he told me the right people knows the value of a product. And that is what I want to reiterate.
Yeah.
If you constantly give people bad manners, they will behave badly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I brought up the example of my fish to tell you that. I grow a lot of pineapples. I decided earlier this year to go to the market in Beaufort to sell the pineapples. When I got there, they had people selling pineapples for $3.50. I got there with a truck of pineapple and I could not afford it, but the people didn't even understand. So what I decided to do was to cut my pineapples and let them try it. Because the variety of pineapple I had was Antigua Black. It's sickeningly sweet. The variety they were selling was called Smooth Cayenne. It's not a good variety of pineapple in terms of the texture, in terms of the sweetness. But nobody understood that. They just thought pineapple for pineapple. But I know the amount of money I paid my workers to harvest, to clean, the amount of problems in pineapple, the amount of bruises I get on my skin to go in there to clean it. So I decided I was not selling my pineapple. And everybody was like, but you have the pineapple, what are you going to do? Throw it? I said, no. So I made a conscious decision that I was going to donate it to the old people's home and the children's home instead of selling it for $3. That was what I saw value in it. Does that make sense? And I know everybody cannot afford to do that. But what I want you all to remember, we have a community of 158 people, women sitting in here. Can you imagine if you, Joycelyn, was growing sweet peppers and I was growing pineapple and you supported me with my pineapple fairly without questioning my price or my price structure, and I did the same for you? Do you know how far we could go just among ourselves as farmers and as entrepreneurs? Think about that. Support each other. Support each other instead of going to the main supermarkets and paying prices that farmers wouldn't pay. Buy it from me and I will buy from you. So let that be the lesson, if anything, that when we leave here tonight, if we support each other, we'll probably start there by getting better prices.
Yes, thanks. Just one last thing, the apps you mentioned for discipline, because again, like I said, I didn't record anything. I could just do that in an Excel or any of
which one?
For apps to record the items.
So the thing about Excel and spreadsheets, I find Excel and spreadsheets behaves like you in school and you're learning a task, right? So if you don't know much about formulas, Excel and spreadsheet isn't going to help you. It's just like you put in information, but you cannot extrapolate the data from it to make the decisions. So if you are not versed in Excel and spreadsheets and you haven't gone to university, this may not be the best option for you. However, look at Wave. You can set up Wave, your children can set up Wave. It's like a complete POS. You can set up the items there. You can put the prices there. So that way you don't change the prices, right? You can send invoices. You can so look at Wave before you even look at spreadsheet. I think it's a simpler form. It allows more professionability. It's available on your phone. You don't have to worry about expanding an Excel sheet on your phone to be able to input the data. So yes, these are helpful tools, but again, it's time consuming and you would need to know the formulas and how to use it to be able to extract the data to make those informed choices that will grow your business. So look at the different methods and what may be more suited for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. The next question is from Thea. She's asking, are credit unions account a reasonable option for small businesses?
Okay, so for growing businesses, so we spoke about growth and longevity here. Credit unions are good for community and small. So it depends on how much you want your business to grow. If somebody pays you, the likeliness of them being able to deposit directly in your credit union, it's going to take a while to get to you because it has to go via one of the banks and then the credit unions, because the credit unions are not banks. Also, I am not sure, I don't really bank with credit unions. I'm not sure how their statement structure will go in terms of you being able to just go online and print a statement and reconcile your accounts. So I always say, use the credit unions for personal, try and open a bank account. Some of the banks have free banking account or minimal fees. A bank account is better because if you're doing mobile payments for receiving money directly to your account, you know it's going to go to a bank. If somebody have to send an overseas payment for you, I have to transfer money from even within the Caribbean islands. If somebody in St. Kitts wanted to buy CMOS, you could do a direct transfer to me and it would get to me in a couple of hours. And I could send the CMOS for you via UPS or something like that. So again, my experience, and I can only speak for mine, if you're looking for growth, which is what tonight is about, sustainability and longevity in your business, a bank account is perhaps a better way to go. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. There's a question in the chat from Lizzie. She's saying, I would like to say thank you regarding tonight's conversation, especially about the burnout, as this is something I deal with often and hope to work on that and improve. I work a full-time job and sometimes it's hard to determine whether to take a side hustle. Do you have any tips regarding persons who work full-time and considering a side hustle, especially when it comes to time management?
So that's a great question. And whilst we answer in Lizzie's one, there's Bernice who said something else about burnout. And for all the burnout people, I, for years, have experienced burnout. I didn't even understand what it was. And like Chloe Amfing said, she thought it was old age and you sometimes thinking something's wrong with you. You can always take on side hustles. It's how you manage your time and what do you prioritize. So if you're going to stay up all night, sleep deprived to be able to be on TikTok when you could be using some of that time, not all of it, to learn something that will empower you. Sometimes we are so tired and we need a break from things, and I understand and appreciate why we would go on these things. But burnout is a real thing. Burnout causes, I don't know how many of you all have suffered from indigestion and things like stomach ulcers or, how should you put it? What is it called? Reflux. I come across a lot of women who are burnout and who suffer from reflux issues, right? So all I'm saying is that, yes, you can do a side hustles. If I tell you all how many side hustles I have, you're going to be amazed. But for some reason, because of my organizational skills, I am able to manage a lot of them by delegating. So another thing I find is delegation. Now, in the Caribbean, we have a problem with staff. I understand and appreciate that. And one of the things I spoke to you about last week is recognizing what you would do, what your capabilities are, and put yourself in the place of the person who's going to assist you, whether for free or for money. So if you have a side hustle and you have a child or an adult child or a friend who can assist you with that side hustle, even if you have to pay them, remember, as you build your business, there's certain things you need, recognition. As it grows, maybe you can decide to leave your full-time job and move to your side hustle. So it depends on what you want out of your side hustle. Is it to generate income and to have a business that is lasting and create a legacy for yourself and your family? Or you just want to do something just to earn extra income for a particular period of time for a particular thing? Then how you treat that or the other would be different. So about the burnout again, and I cannot stress enough, we cannot run businesses if we are burnout. It affects us. There's one person in this group I once went on a hike with her, and I probably never got to tell her that, but I look forward to little things like that. And if I had a support of women who could organize and do this once a month, I would look forward to putting the time aside to go on a gentle hike, a medium hike, just to be able to do something like that, to get out of all the work and the stuff. And we have to make time for these things. We have to make time for it. Okay, so I hope that answers your question about the burnout. Hold on, I'm just looking again to see if I missed anything. A full-time job and it's hard to determine where, yeah. So again, it's priorities. Tips regarding persons who work full-time and considering a side hustle. Priorities. Decide what you want to do. And just never forget to take time off for yourself. I go out once a year, and that's because I like Zouk music. So there's this happening in St. Lucia, and I try to be around in St. Lucia for that time. And I go out and I just let my hair down because that's what I like and I get to do that. So pick something that you enjoy, that you can look forward to, even if it's for a year, in my case. If you like carnival season, if you like Christmas, plan something around it that you can enjoy, okay? What is the name of the Caribbean platform? I saw that one. I have to go back and look for it. I will try and share it. What I will do, I'll share that with Helen's daughters and they can send it to you all. I have to go back through the presentation to look for it. Merchants are claiming that there's a fee attached to the use of the card, which they have to pay. And yes, that is true, Reese. So listen to that. You get a debit card machine, and in St. Lucia, I know the fee is $25 a month. That is true. However, what I want you to think about as the merchant, let's not think about it from your perspective yet, because we're talking about business here. If you were making $50 at a farmer's market without merchant services, and then you have to pay $25 a month, not for the one Saturday in the free Saturdays you're going to be there for the month, to have that card. Plus, I think they charge you a commission of 3%. But again, if you have a card, you can factor in the percentage that the bank is going to charge you in your price. Nobody would know. You're not supposed to, but who would know, right? So if you know you're going to use a merchant services for convenience, you are going to charge $3.50 for a product, you charge $3.75, okay? So yes, there is a cost to doing it. But what I want you to understand, look at it from that perspective. And I wish the banks would explain it like that to merchants or business places when they sell it to them. So today you are going to make $50. You have no merchant services, but all of a sudden you have the machine service, and now you are making $300 for that day versus the $50 you would have made in cash. What is it better to have? To go home with $50 and pay 0% of nothing, or to go home with $200 and pay 2% of $200 for the convenience of having the card? This is a cost of doing business. And as long as we continue to look at it as a cost that we need to pass on to our customers, if you didn't have the machine, you would not make that revenue, right? Similarly, if you didn't have the plastic bag or the plastic bottle to put the juice, how would you sell the juice? So look at it as a tool of growing and keeping your business. This is how the world is moving. There's a cost to it. Incorporate that cost in your profit margin, in your cost of selling that good to the person. But it is absolutely wrong to want to charge somebody, even if you've been charged a nominal fee. That's how the banks make their money. The bank have to make money for providing you for the machine, for reconciling the accounts, for deposit it into your account. And think about the safety aspect of it, that you now don't have to take cash and go to the bank and being robbed. You now have a record because the bank can see that money is being deposited. So when you go for funding, so paying $25 a month for a machine, that's peanuts compared to the benefits and the rewards that you will gain from it. And as a customer, you can demand, and I challenge you all to do that. Call your banks, or when you go to them, particularly in St. Lucia, because I know there's been a lot of outreach programs with the merchants. You do not have any minimum payment. And if a merchant tell you have to pay $5 or 50 cents extra, that is wrong. You can report them and they can lose the machine. Okay? So go out there and use your cards. Pay for everything with your cards. It's convenient, it's safe, and if it's your credit card and somebody uses it fraudulently, you will get your money back. You just have to make a report to the bank in a timely manner. Okay? Adrienne Bika, what a wonderful presentation. I definitely will try my best to put what I've learned. I feel like I was blinded. I am so grateful and pleased that you guys are taking some things away from this. Melinda, you are currently experiencing burnout, but again, getting staff is a huge problem. Melinda, I know it's a huge problem, but you have to be prepared to create a balance. There's no sense in you getting sick and you not being able to work to be able to what sense is a business when there is no you and you are the business? So I will encourage you tonight to look after yourself, to take a little break, take some time off. You must have some old school friends you haven't catch up with for a long time. I don't know what your age group is, but find something you love and just take a break from it. Close your eyes. The other thing I wanted to share with you all too is that next year, I am planning to do a mentorship program for free women. Unfortunately, it's the first year I'm going to do it. And it will be an 18-month program where we help somebody who's interested in either starting a business or have a business already. And I will not be the only mentor on the program. I'm trying to see if we can somehow get some additional resources that you'd have to normally pay for. Like, for instance, if we would provide you with QuickBooks and we would pay for it for you for the 18 months. So it's just a matter of putting that in process. So look out for that. When we have finalized it, we will share with Ellen's daughters and hopefully some of you all can apply for it. And for those of you who I have your email address, I will share it with you. But I think it would be helpful basically from what I've gained, because a lot of us start businesses and we don't have the encouragement and the support and people around us to tell us, even when it gets hard, that we can do it. And I think if there's a way we can mentor to provide the facilities for starting the business, keeping it going, providing the resources and the support and showing you that it works. I think if after 18 months, you get to that point, you will have formed a formidable business and be willing and able to continue it with little or no support from your mentor. So that is a program that you guys have inspired me to start over the last few academies I have done. And I look forward to seeing applications from you all and how I can best support you all. Okay? Any more questions? Anybody want to talk to me? We still have a little bit of time and I would love to hear your voices, or just tell me what you thought overall about what you didn't like and what you like and what we'd like to see more of in the next program that we put on for you.
Thank you so much. There were two persons who raised their hand, which is Melissa. So I'm going to give her permission to speak and then we will move on to Wendy. So you could go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, hello, good night, everyone. You heard me?
Yes, yes, I can.
All right, hi, good night. Well, the session tonight was very informative and enlightening and very interactive. Also, it provide a lot of information, insight to aspects that I wasn't aware of, or I didn't thought of it before. Just like if I didn't know, but it's just that I didn't pull those information together. So it's a very informative session. I would like to share there for the IT section, there is Honeybooks. I don't know if everybody's aware of Honeybooks. While I was doing my event planning course out of the States, well, I'm still a part of the group. They have a Honeybook. I'm not too sure if it's free of charge because I didn't sign on to it, but you can look into it. It's called Honeybooks, and it gave you, you could put all your stuff on it. It's almost like on Amazon, where you have everything to put your products online. It provide also information, finance analysis, and report at the end of the year, monthly reports, and all these other things. There's also a new form that I've recently, my daughter does classes on Sundays, so it's called Jotter Form. but it's time consuming. Just bear in mind for those Vincentians who are there listening, my daughter does she does, what do they call it, designing, web design and so forth. So if you want somebody to help you with to design a website for you, she is available. So you could always get in contact with the person, and I could always let my daughter do it at a cost. Like yesterday, someone asked us to design a flyer for her for advertisement, and she did it. She got a token, but it wasn't large, but it encouraged those with the fine skills.
Okay, so listen, Melissa, I love that you're talking to us, but unfortunately, I can't allow you to sell here because we have other people that want to talk about the program. But I do appreciate that, and if they do, they will get in touch with you. But yeah, I have to let somebody else speak if that's okay.
Okay, fair. No,
Okay.
fair enough. I was doing that. Or if right, so
Okay.
there's a job forms.
Okay.
What else? There is, I think there is QuickBooks, but QuickBooks is a little bit challenging for those who I think there is this university, this college I'm doing my master's with, they has programs on QuickBooks. It is called SCBS Institute. It's out of Trinidad. I think it's 225. I could be subject US. I could be subject for the quoting of that, but that is available there. And there are places in your own local community institutions that offer QuickBooks and so forth, or any other little financial institute, or as you said, there are pros you could piggyback on certain systems, but those that I can share. All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Melissa, and all the best to your daughter too. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome that you encourage in entrepreneurship. Okay.
Okay then. Thanks.
Okay then.
Thank
So let
you.
me just answer just two people before we go to the next thing, just to break it up a bit. So anonymous attendee said, I understand burnout, but what you really do when you don't have a choice, because honestly, so I can completely understand what you're saying, but guess what? If you don't make the choice will be made for you. You will end up getting sick. And if you know there, what will happen? So slow down, okay? Take that advice from me. You have a choice. You always have a choice. The only thing about our choices is that is either we gain rewards or we suffer consequences. So you have to be prepared for either. But I would say that you should probably aim for the rewards, which is rest, relaxation, and perhaps reducing the risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, and these things. So take a break, okay? Take a break. Tia asked, where can the application for the mentorship be found? Tia, we are not completed the entire program and what it entails yet. I just gave you all a heads up. But we're hoping that the applications will be available by June next year, so we can start selecting candidates, okay? So just look out for it. Anonymous, and there's somebody else who said something about burnout and they made me smile. They said what I thought was premenopause is probably actually burnout. So listen to the joke. Every time I want to avoid the burnout thing and for me to take a break, I tend to tell myself it's premenopause too, so I could go on. But please don't do like me. Take a break. It's probably not premenopause. It might be or a combination of both, okay? So take a break. I will take Wendy's question now. Let me hear from Wendy before I answer the rest.
Okay, thank you very much. Wendy, you are given permission to speak, so you can go ahead. Bye.
Okay. Can you hear me? Thank you very much.
I can.
I want to really thank the facilitator for excellent presentations over the last 2 weeks. Very engaging and allowed me to do a lot of self-reflection on the activities that I have been doing. I think I have been selling myself short, like always saying, I just have a small business. And like I'm emphasizing on the word small in terms of my little agricultural business. But I have come to appreciate the need to claim it and to work at helping it to grow. And one of the things that really resonated with me is the need to do record keeping. I really need to upgrade there so that I can really see myself grow. On that note, I just wanted to ask you, if I'm in the area of selling smoothies, because, I do a lot of healthy oriented activities. So smoothies is one of the things that I do. I have been thinking of what I could use to how would I say, advertise. Yes, I have flyers, etc., but like to show my options. Would you suggest Google Forms, or is there something that you think would be even better?
Wendy, I know you have a network of women already at your disposal. Even I would perhaps buy your smoothies. However, I would say to start out by knowing your clientele. So look at the network of people you have first. It's always best to try and advertise to people who know what you're about, and where you can manage capacity. Because if you advertise too much, you might have too many orders that you cannot fulfill. And what you want to do is to start at a manageable amount. So one of the first things I would say to do is Canva, which I spoke about, is an amazing platform. You can go into Canva. They all have AI features now. You probably can tell it, or even ChatGPT, I believe. You can tell it, create a flyer for me for smoothies, give your business name, put your address, and you'll be surprised what it might come up with. So you can start by using digital full flyers. Again, WhatsApp business. For those of you who do not have it, look at WhatsApp business. I'm not asking you to change your personal number into WhatsApp business, but look at what WhatsApp business has to offer. Wendy, you can use the catalog and put your different smoothies, what the ingredients are, how much they cost. You can allow people to have options of sugar or honey, or perhaps something like monk fruit. So if it needs sweetening, if you get what I'm saying. So you can perhaps, there are other people that sell smoothies. I know a young lady from View Photo does it. You need a distinct point as to what you are producing to be able to get the people who can afford to pay you the price you want and to keep them. So that's the other important thing. Don't just sell smoothies for smoothie's sake. Look at your demographics. Who are you targeting to sell it? Do you want, for instance, the people at middle government management, the bank managers, the people who are definitely interested and who would pay you a fair price for it? Then see what those people's needs are. Some of these people are high diabetes, hypertension, their carbs level have to be a bit low, their sugar level. How can you incorporate that in your business to allow for you to be able to get the price that is valuable to you? Secondly, sourcing your products. You probably, I don't know what your farm is like and what you have. One other advice I can give you. For instance, I grow some fruit. I don't have a lot of fruit, but at any one point in time, I have 2 freezers that are full with fruits when fruits are out of season. Recently, a friend of mine's sister passed away, and I was able to make her 150 of those small bottles of local juice just from frozen stuff. So you now have to start thinking about how you can store things to save money, one, and to be able to have availability, even when availability is not, when the resources are not always available. But first, I would tell you to start with your network. See who's interested there. Ask them to share it for you. And that could be a good way of starting before you spending and investing any money. As it pertains to record keeping, I appreciate the young lady who spoke earlier. I don't like to put a plug for myself, but I will tell you all, I'm a QuickBooks specialist. I worked with Intuit. I do that now. So for instance, if you were to buy QuickBooks online for a certain price, our firm is able to give it to you at a discounted price. I'm not selling to you all because I'm not taking new clients. I say this to tell you the reason I never really mentioned about buying QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a cost. And the thing about QuickBooks Online is that eventually they will get you in by telling you they'll give you a 50% discount. And in about 6 months or a year, the price goes up. So again, if you're somebody like me who reads the fine print, you will know this before, but you might see an attractive rate, get locked in, put all your data there, and then you genuinely cannot afford it and end up losing everything. The other thing about QuickBooks, I am aware that there are a lot of people who teach courses, and perhaps that is good for people who have absolutely no knowledge of accounting and finance. But if you have some basic premise of accounting and knowledge, QuickBooks is one of the easiest things to learn. You can go online on YouTube and you can learn QuickBooks in 2 minutes. I kid you not. That's how easy it is. So whilst, yes, they have these things available where you can pay to learn, try and use the free resources. Everything free is good. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not everything free is good, but freeness is always good. So look for the resources where you can learn first before you go and pay to be able to do something that you may have been able to acquire that knowledge for free. Okay, so Wendy, the bookkeeping, absolutely amazing. I want you all to look at Weave. I did not recommend QuickBooks to you all because there's a cost. I said to look at Weave first. You can do a trial, see if you like it, how it can incorporate in your business. Wendy, I know you also into some fitness and stuff. You can look at how you can sell products while selling even your services as a personal trainer. If you can incorporate that, then that might be a booster for you as well. So I hope that answers your question, and I look forward to catching up with you sometime soon. Somebody said, what if you are sole owner and you are close to burnout? Should you be encouraged to take a month of vacation? Most of us who are sole owners or sole traders, there's no way we can afford to take a month off. So let's not stretch it there. That's like asking for a mile when you know you're definitely not going to get it. So I want you to start small. A month, yes, you probably need a month, but can you afford to take a month? I don't know. Maybe you can. But start small. You can start by taking a day off. Let's start there. Taking a month off, yes, you might lose customers if your business depends on you being there. So start small, take a few hours off even, okay? So Anonymous and Tandy, I hope that helps. Miss Davy, you have confirmed a lot of what I have been taught and done over the years. I am at the stage where I am sharing knowledge on food processing, which is very wide. Thank you so much. Bernice, that is excellent. And I always believe that the information we have or the experiences we've gathered, by sharing it with people, it never hurts. Every experience is different. Every experience is valuable. So continue to share it and continue to inspire. If there is a free software where I can handle pictures of raw materials, my suppliers, cost of products, and pictures of my final product, I make jewelry and personalized printing. You can try WhatsApp Business, whoever, I think it's Francis Beverly who says that. You can try WhatsApp Business and see if that can help you. I've never really used it for that, but I heard the cataloging is good. I am glad for those tape-up sessions. While I know as an accountant, record keeping is very important, I'm always lagging behind when it comes to my business. I utilize QuickBooks, however, and I find I don't have the time. I am an 8 to 4 and still have 2 other side hustles. Any advice on better management? So for me, I use Sundays. I don't like to do anything on a Sunday. I don't want nobody to invite me anywhere on a Sunday. I do work on Sundays, but for me, it's more like the reset day where I don't really interact. So what I do on a Sunday, I sit down and I plan my week. And most times, I only accomplish 50% of the stuff I do, but 50% is better than nothing because I have a lot of stuff I'm handling. So what I would say in terms of that question is plan your week. Prioritize the things that you need to get done and try and get as much of it as you can get done. And I find when I plan my week, yes, some things go off track, but for the best part, I get a lot done. Especially if you have an 8 to 4. In my case, I have like 3 8 to 4s. So planning is essential and staying on top of it, using tools like Google Workspace, using your calendar. So I have a calendar and you also see the different colors on it. Sometimes I get dizzy just watching it, but it does help me to be able to find time for exercise. So for instance, if there is an activity, like I believe there is an activity for Monjimi, sometime at the end of November that I want to take part, it's already there. And when somebody calls me, I say, let me check, let me have a look. So I don't plan anything on that day. So plan ahead and that will help you. Often is those of us who are accountants or bookkeeping that lag behind, but unfortunately, I must say QuickBooks is almost like my guilty pleasure. It's almost like a puzzle for me. So even when I am stressed, I would find myself on QuickBooks. I'm looking at a client stuff. The thing about QuickBooks is, and I'm not sure if you're aware, there's so many new features in it, especially over the last couple of months with the AI capabilities in there. You now can pull up your bank account statement and just automatically download it into QuickBooks and be able to reconcile. So there's so many features with QuickBooks. So Kwashi, you can always message me. I don't teach, but I can guide you. And QuickBooks is a lot easier than it was. And if you spend some time with it, you will find that it is absolutely an amazing feature. But I'm biased because it's become an addiction for me. I love what I do. Wendy can add CMOS to make smoothies, superfood, and has a competitive advantage. Wendy, somebody was giving you some advice. A month, I have a livestock farmer and I can't take a day off attending to the market. So again, for livestock farming, Melinda, I want you to look at, I was having a conversation with somebody else that have livestock farming, and it's a little bit, how shall I put it? You can burnout will be real for you, but not only that too. I want you to seriously look at your business model for the livestock and see how you can scale up in terms of hiring somebody. This is a livestock farmer is like having, and I'm not a livestock farmer. I had some goats and I had to literally give them away because I had to become a slave. I'm concerned when it rained or if something happened or when dogs are going after them to kill them. It's like you need to, I don't think this is something that's healthy to do on your own if you're a livestock farmer. So let's forget about the burnout. Let's think about the profitability. Let's think about all the other things. And maybe we can have a conversation at a time. So you can always message me. But I'd love to hear about your experience as a livestock farmer and perhaps how I can assist you with putting in some structure so you can have not just free time, but make sure that you're making a profit and doing well with it as well, which I'm sure you are. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Anybody else want to speak? I do not mind giving 5 more minutes if that's okay. Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
Yes, Frances Beverly have her hand up for the longest while, so I'm
Okay.
gonna give her permission to speak, and that's no problem, only 5 minutes.
No problem. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You are given permission, Frances. Frances Beverly, I'm not too sure if you can hear me, but you were given permission. So you could go ahead and ask a question now.
Sorry, I typed in what I wanted to ask.
So you did about the free software?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. So I did not know. I think, did I answer your question?
Yes,
Or
you
would you
did.
like to have another? I did. Okay.
You said
Frances, which island are you in?
the Google with the catalog and WhatsApp.
Yes, you
But
can try
the
WhatsApp.
catalog would only deal with the final product where it will have price and everything. It
So
would
why do you need to show your raw materials?
Pardon me?
Why would you want to show your raw materials?
I get materials from different islands. I get from different places. So sometimes I buy something. I'm trying to figure out where did I get this. I don't remember where it was.
Oh, so you want, okay, so you want a software where you can, so you know the software, the Wave one, the free one, you can now put in your expenses and your income, and under your expenses, you can put in the supplier names and you can put in the product you bought from them. So when you don't remember, you can go back in it. That's what you were referring to for raw materials?
Yes, I just want
So you can absolutely do that. You can do that, yes, you can do that in Wave.
Thank
So
you.
when you're ready, you just go back and search and you can look at the products you bought. You can run a report and it'll pull it up and you'll be able to click on it and see who you bought it from and when.
Yes.
Absolutely, you can do that. You can do it in QuickBooks, but you have to pay for QuickBooks. So I will tell you to try Wave.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. I think I missed a few things. Pricing, I think we spoke about that already. How do you combat theft in your business? Miss Justin, you completely burn out. For all the people on the burnout, please look after yourself. Sherry Ann Popo, First Pay for CIBC, absolutely yes. Bank of St. Lucia has one too. I think it's called Mobile Pay. Republic has one too, so yes. Not seeing it. I guess that was not for me. Anybody have their hands up? I can't see the hands up.
No, please. Nobody
Have their hands up.
Yeah. And I think
Excellent
that is
presentation, valuables. Okay. So again, everybody, I cannot thank you all enough. It's been my absolute pleasure being here with you. And again, any little one thing that resonates with you, go back, share it. My email address, I guess you all guys would have taken it. Send me a message. And this one person that I have to set up a meeting with, I promise you it'll happen sometime next week, okay? And thank you again. Thank you, Shaquan, and thank you to the rest of the Helen's Daughters team for giving all of us this opportunity. And